Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Greetings, sports fans. Welcome to BCN Sports Network. My name is Benton. Another show. BCN Sports Network cricket show. Working a name. That doesn't sound very original, but we're working a name. You know, if you have a name suggestion, send it on. We will definitely put that on the consideration. But as currently stand, this is the BCN Sports Cricket Show. And I'm excited about this show. This will be a weekly show. We're gonna drop. We're gonna do some lives. Watch along now and again, and we'll also have recorded content for this BCN Sports Cricket Show, just like all the other shows that we will see here on BCN Sports Network. All right, so BCN Sports Cricket Show first episode will be focused on, or today's episode will be focused on Australia versus India. India is currently touring Australia. The ODI series will take a look at the current status and the landscape of that series between Australia and India. India in a spot of bother. The score is up on the screen. And we'll also take a look at West Indies tour of Bangladesh. Wow. Those of you who who are new to this channel or new to this content, I am a West Indies cricket fan. I am a supporter of the Maroon. I am a supporter of the West Indies cricket team. It's been very, very bad these last 2 decades, maybe 3 decades, or close to 3 decades. Yeah, since the 90s, the West Indies has been pretty bad. But, you know, for all long-standing West Indian cricket fans, we rally anywhere. We rally because the boys need us now more than ever to support them. We'll take a deep dive look on the West Indies versus Bangladesh tour. West Indies versus Bangladesh series, as West Indies tours Bangladesh currently. The ODI series just concluded, so we'll take a look at the scores, some average. We'll take a look at the bowling returns and some of the comments made after the conclusion of the ODI series. But we'll take a look at the Women's Cricket World Cup that's currently taking place in India. A big game concluded recently between India and New Zealand. That was a monumental game, a big game in order to make it to the semi-final. India defeated New Zealand. We'll take a look at that game, and we'll look at the Women's World Cup at the back end of the show. All right, let's get into it. And by the way, if you're new here, if you're new to the content, subscribe. If this is the content for you, definitely smash the like button. If there's things that you want us to come to discuss or really kind of chop up in this BCN Sports Cricket Show, leave it in the comment section. Let us know. Definitely we'll take a look at it and discuss it. You don't know. And again, we'll do some live shows where people and fans can interact. All right, let's get to the BCN Sports Cricket Show, the first episode, formally looking at the series that's going on between Australia and India. Australia leads that series 2-0. And I have a lot of friends and a lot of family, a bit of family from India too. You know, so big up to Indian fans, the supporters of the Indian cricket team. Not a good series for India so far. Actually, they already lose the series, so we don't know so far. India is on the verge of a 3-0 sweep. They're playing three ODI games against Australia in Australia. This, if successful, this will be the first time in Australia would have swept India in a bilateral series. So the fans of India are hoping that this won't happen. And the last and final game in the ODI series will take place tonight at 11:30 p.m. My time in the Eastern time zone. So tonight, 11:30 p.m., that final ODI game will take place between India and Australia. Now, the series is already decided. Australia has already won the series. They take a commanding 2-0 lead. Just to go over the scores of the two concluded games, Australia won the first game which was heavily affected by rain. It was, Australia took that game by the Duckworth-Lewis system method, DLS method. India made 139 from their 26 overs, and Australia made 131 from 21.1 overs. Australia won that by 7 wickets in the first game. And, you thought, okay, rain affected the first game. Can't really read too much in that first game. I expected a lot more in the second game in terms of competitiveness, and I did see that. I did receive that. But there were some blatant questions that left like a lot of fans of Indian cricket shaking their heads and was like, what the hell is going on? In the second ODI, Australia won by 2 wickets. India was sent in to bat. India made 264. India batted first, made it 264 for 9 off their allotted 50 overs. Australia won the game, scoring 265 with 8 wickets. They won the game by 2 wickets. As for India, and again, Australia took a 2-0 series lead by winning that first game. But the focus is on India as I wrap up this discussion around this series. The focus, this ODI series, the focus is on India. India brought back Rohit Sharma and the legend himself, the man them called King Kohli, Virat Kohli, for this ODI series. And I must tell you, I was very disappointed in what I saw from Virat Kohli. His batting was piss poor, actually. The Indian fans of Virat Kohli, our cricket fans of Virat Kohli, can come at me all they want, but you can send the email to ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. Send it there. Or you can call me up on a live show and curse me out. But I thought Virat Kohli was piss poor in the series, made 2 consecutive ducks, golden duck, leg before for 0, caught in the first game for a not. I think he was caught in the first game. I'm trying to remember. The second game, he went out got out leg before, plumb. And for you non-cricket fans, when it means plumb leg before, it's beyond a reasonable doubt that the ball hitting the pad would have gone to gone on to hit the stumps. Virat Kohli decided to have a lengthy conversation. You can't challenge or review the decisions of the umpire within 15 seconds. You can review the decisions of the umpire as long as that decision is made within 15 seconds. Virat Kohli pretty much took the entire 15 seconds discussing with Rohit Sharma whether he should challenge that call. And I thought, Virat Kohli, you're a big batsman. You're an excellent batsman. You knew that was plumb. Get off the cricket field. So I thought I was very disappointed with Virat Kohli. As for Rohit Sharma grind out and made 73 runs in that second inning. Hey, look, that 73 runs, he was a bit fortunate to survive to make 73 runs. Yes, you have to create your luck sometimes in this life, and he battled immensely for his 73 runs. But Australia had 2 reviews, and they used both reviews to try to get Rohit Sharma out. One was a caught behind, the ball actually brushed the pocket. Another one I think was a leg before, and they challenged that, and I think he got an inside edge. Yes, on the leg before. The ball actually hit the back leg. It was gonna go on to hit the stumps, but he had an inside edge. And that kind of emphasized how difficult a time Rohit Sharma had batting in this second game, and how Josh Hazlewood mainly had him in stitches. I think Josh Hazlewood bowled like 3 overs, maiden overs, and predominantly those overs were bowled to Rohit Sharma, who was tied up in knots constantly with the bounce and the movement of the ball off the surface. So it's not a good look for India in this third ODI. Young captain Shubman Gill didn't look good He got out trying to attack in that second game, caught. I think he was caught at mid-on or mid-off, somewhere around there, trying to attack. But it's not a good look for young captain Shuman Gill. As for India and coach Gautam Gambhir, I some decisions that he made in this game was questionable at best. There is no way on this planet I think that KL Rahul should bat below Aksar Patel. That does not make any sense. KL Rahul opens the batting for India in the Test match series. There is no way that I'm putting KL Rahul to bat behind Aksar Patel. So that, to me, that is foolishness. And I don't want anyone tell me about T20 cricket attack and Aksar Patel strike rate. I don't give a, you know what, you get the word. So I think that, the coaching decisions of Mr. Gambhir should be questioned. He needs to solve some of those issues with his batting order. But India's batting has failed, has struggled immensely in this series. The bowling side of things for India also. Harshit Rana. Harshit Rana. He's too expensive. He's too expensive on ODI bowler. He picked up 2 wickets in the second game, but he had like an economic was 7-something runs and over or something to that. That is too expensive relative to the other bowlers. I mean, I don't know if Raina should be playing in this Indian team. I think India has other options for bowlers. All right, so Australia already wrapped up the series. Australia leads the series 2-0. The third game is tonight at 11:30 p.m. I will watch a bit of the game. And again, Australia looking to sweep India for the first time in a bilateral series. Hey, good luck to Gambhir if this does occur, because Indian fans, they do roll and they do support their team immensely. Big up to all the Indian fans who subscribe to BCN Sports. Big up fans of Indian cricket who subscribe to Indian BCN Sports. All right, moving on from India, let's just go quickly to the Women's World Cup and leave West Indies cricket for last. West Indies tour of Bangladesh for last. Women's World Cup game, New Zealand versus India. This game was a huge game for a spot in the semi-final of the Women's World Cup. India defeated New Zealand. India made 340 runs in their allotted number of overs, 340 for 3. New Zealand could only muster 271, in their allotted overs. And Srimiti Mandana was the player of the match for this game. She put up 100 for her Indian team. And the bottom line with India's women cricket team is that if Srimiti Mandana is playing or batting well, I think that India has a chance in any and most of these games. She's a big bat. She's excellent. So watch out for India in this tournament. And just to remind, I want to put up the standing of where they are in this group. I do expect these 4 teams to advance to the semifinal. We'll do a bit of more deep dive in the semifinal games once they come around. But Australia leads the group. Australia is the standard bearer in women's cricket. South Africa has been excellent in this tournament. Big up to the South African ladies who are doing quite well. England is also doing quite well, and India looking to round out that top 4. So those 4 teams, as it stand, are looking for the semifinals. India is not secured yet in terms of that semifinal spot, but that victory over New Zealand immensely helps them to kind of move or usher towards that semifinal spot. All right, now let's get to the most depressing cricket news of the day of this episode. Let's get to West Indies cricket, and I'm sure that this is not the last time I'm going to be saying that West Indies cricket is the most depressing news of this show, of this, of this, this. I can't even find the words. West Indies is currently touring Bangladesh. West Indies took part in the 3 games ODI versus Bangladesh, and let's get the Bangladesh won the series 2-1 over West Indies, and let's go to the respective games. Bangladesh won the series 2-1. The team's ranking heading into the series, West Indies ranked 9th in the ODI, ICC ODI ranking, and Bangladesh is ranked 10th in the October 2025 ODI ranking. So I think that I don't remember the points number. I think West Indies has 79 points and Bangladesh probably have 76 points. So West Indies is currently ranked 9th in the ICC ODI ranking with 79 points, I think. And Bangladesh is ranked 10th, I think, with 76 points. You know what? Let me make sure I get the numbers right. Yep, I am right. So West Indies is ranked 9th with 79 points, and Bangladesh is ranked 10th with 76 points. So that is the backdrop of the series. Both of these teams are okay. Let's fill in the blank. All right, the first ODI that took place between the two teams, Bangladesh won by 74 runs. Bangladesh made 207. West Indies bowled out for 133 runs. The second ODI of the 3-game series, match tied. Bangladesh batted first, made 213 from their allotted overs, and West Indies made 213. West Indies won the game in a super over after making 10 runs in their super over, and Bangladesh only came up with 9 runs. So heading into the final ODI game, both teams were sitting on 1 game apiece, and the deciding game ended like this. Bangladesh won that deciding game by 179 runs. Bangladesh went into bat, made 296 runs from their allotted 50 overs. Yes, my face is getting sadder and sadder as I read this. Bangladesh made 296 runs from their allotted 50 overs. West Indies only mustered up 117 runs, bowled out for 117 runs. And let's go into some of the stats of that third ODI. The 179 runs margin of victory is the largest margin of victory against West Indies in ODI for Bangladesh. So we want to repeat that. The 179 runs margin of victory in the third ODI is the largest margin of victory for Bangladesh against the West Indies in ODI. It's the second largest victory in ODI history for Bangladesh. It's only second to 183 runs victory that Bangladesh had over Ireland. So I can't bother. West Indies was bowled out for in the 30.1 overs for their 117 runs. All right, a lot to unpack here. Another big nugget from that third game is that Bangladesh had 170 runs opening partnership. I want to repeat, 176 runs opening partnership between Hassan and Sarkar for Bangladesh. And they actually batted, I think, till the 25th overs of a 50-over game. 25th over for a 50-over game. And also in that third ODI, West Indies dropped several catches. I counted 6, if I'm not mistaken, and missed a stumping by the Shea Hope. All right, what was said after the conclusion of the third ODI and, of course, conclusion of the ODI series? West Indies captain Shea Hope says a tough series as in tough series all around, tough series to bat in for the batters. West Indies batters in this series, again, in the first game, they were bowled out for 133. In the second game, they made 213. And in the second game, they made 213. And in the final game, the third game, they were bowled out for 117. So Shea Hope said it was a tough series, batting wise. Definitely the batsmen were tough. He said they could have bowled better regarding, restricting and limiting a Bangladesh score. Bangladesh did pile on, and really took it to the West Indies bowlers in that third game. Bangladesh captain Miraz said, excellent for them, excellent victory for them. They're very happy about that. Of course, winning that game may now means that Bangladesh may leapfrog West Indies in the ICC ranking. He said from a batting perspective, the reason why they accumulated a score of 296 was that they took on a positive mindset. They went out and they took on that positive mindset. They were very aggressive in attacking the West Indies bowlers, and that led to really kind of folding of the West Indies bowling. But the feeling of the West Indies was pretty poor. Maybe the word pathetic is more aligned. All right. My personal opinion regarding this West Indies series, and there's a lot of other content and context out there that's been circulating, and I don't know what's the solution for West Indies cricket. West Indies cricket is in a very bad state. Coach Darren Sammy at the conclusion of the series, when asked about positives, he says probably the only positive from a batting perspective, he said that, to paraphrase, is that, I think Shea Hope, Casey Carty, if they put their hands up, they carry the team, and then everybody else kind of wilts away. So to paraphrase what Darren Sammy said, he felt like from a batting perspective, is either Shea Hope was probably the only positive, and maybe Casey Carter. We'll look at the numbers here in a second. He felt like Coach Darren Sammy of the West Indies team felt like his bowlers were disappointing. And I want to get his exact quote here. He said, to emphasize, he said, let me pull this up here. I'm getting this quote here from Darren Sammy. He said, I am really disappointed in the way we bowled. As he said, Darren Sammy said, he says, I am really disappointed in the way we bowled. When you come to Bangladesh, spinners should be licking their lips, because that's the area where you will get to execute your plans in the most favorable conditions, end quote. So he says he's very disappointed in the way they bowled. When you come to Bangladesh, you would expect spinners to do well, and he felt like his spinners were not up to scratch. Just an overview of the West Indies spinners in Bangladesh. West Indies spinners over the 3 games took 18 wickets at an average of 29.44 with an economical rate of economy of 4.7, whereas Bangladesh spinners took 26 wickets at an average of 14.7 and an economy of 3.74. Darren Sammy. Okay, before I address Darren Sammy. All right, you know what? Yeah, let's just go ahead and continue regarding the bowling before I address the Darren Sammy statement regarding his spinners. He says his spinners were not piss poor, but his spinners were disappointed. He was disappointed in the spin bowling. Just to kind of highlight the bowling, the spinners that took most wickets, Akil Hussain, who played 2 games, took 6 wickets. Akil Hussain, who played 2 games, took 6 wickets. Akil Hussain and Simmons were brought in as emergency replacements for Shamar Joseph and Jadea Blades. Impressive that Akil Hussain actually got in at 2 a.m. Bangladeshi time and was instrumental in the deciding factor, maybe the deciding factor in West Indies actually winning the second ODI, because Akil Hussain did bowl that super over and restricted the Bangladeshi team. So Akil Hussain picked up 6 wickets in this ODI series. Of only played two of the 3 games. Ali Atanase bowled in 2 games only. He picked up 4 wickets. Gudakesh Moti bowled in all 3 games, picked up 4 wickets. Justin Graves is not a spinner, but he did bowl in all 3 games. He picked up 2 wickets. Kyrie Peer picked up a single wicket. He played in all 3 games. Rustin Chase played in all 3 games, bowled in all 3 games, and picked up 3 wickets over the 3 games. So my question is this: if Akil Hussain is the most impactful spinner of these numbers, just looking at these numbers, Akil Hussain picked up 6 wickets. He was decisive in that second ODI. He was brought in as a replacement player for Shamar Joseph. Why wasn't Akil Hussain part of the original squad going to Bangladesh to begin with? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something I missed. But Akil Hussain, of course, we know his exploits in T20 cricket, has been very good in T20 cricket. Akil Hussain, I think, would be a part of the ODI group heading down to Bangladesh. He's there for the T20 series, and we have the T20 schedule coming up there, and we'll look at the games coming up. So Coach Darren Sammy, and I was a bit surprised. At least I didn't hear that at the post-match press conference, post-series press conference, where he was asked about Akil Hussain. He about why wasn't he included in the squad on the first. And I don't know. Maybe I missed something. All right. Darren Sammy said he was disappointed with his bowlers, his spin bowlers, not utilizing or taking advantage of the conditions. Let's look at Darren Sammy's team's batting perspective and look at the numbers. And I'm not going to go through what scores each batsman made, but I'm just going to give you their average throughout the series over the 3 games. Alik Atanase had start. He opened in this series. Played all 3 games. He averaged 23 runs. And again, Alik Atanase had starts, just couldn't carry on, and just did not essentially elevate or take those scores to go deep into innings. Brandon King played all 3 games. He top scored with a 44. One of his in the first game. Alik Atane's highest score was a 27. Was also in that first game. Brandon King's average was 20. He averaged 20 throughout the ODI series. Akeem August didn't play in the first game. He played 2 games. His average is 8.5. Casey Carty played all 3 games. He averaged 19.6. Shea Hope, who played in all 3 games. Of course, he's the captain. He averaged 24 runs. Sheffrin Rutherford played in all 3 games. He averaged 6.3. Rustin Chase played in all 3 games. He averaged 3.6 runs. And I want to repeat that. Rustin Chase averaged 3.6 runs, and he played in all 3 games. Justin Graves averaged 17.6. Justin Graves averaged 17.6. Gudakesh Moti averaged 8.3. Akil Hussain played in 2 games. He averaged 21.5. Kyrie Peer played in 2 games and averaged 1. One game he was not out 0, and the other game he made 2 not out. And Kyrie Peer did play in all 3 games, but he just didn't bat in that. Well, he didn't score it in that first game. Why didn't Kyrie pair? Let's go back over here. See what Kyrie Pierre had, because I have Kyrie Pierce playing in that first game also, because I know he played. Why, you know? So at any rate, I'll look that up. But the batting was piss poor, and the batting has been piss poor for West Indies cricket for a while. So it's crazy to me that Darren Sammy focuses heavily on the spin bowlers' failure during this series. He says the spin bowlers did not deliver. His batting didn't deliver. This batting is piss poor. And we can look at the Bangladesh numbers, and they're far better in terms of their middle order. When you look at Ruston Chase scored 6.50 in this series. 3.6 is the average. Shafane Rutherford, 0.712, 6.3. You can't win games that way. You cannot win, and these guys are an essential part of that batting unit. Casey Carty, 19.6 is average. He scored 9, 35, and 15. Brandon King, 44 in that first game. He was tied in knots in the other games. Tied in knots also in that first game to some extent. Made a duck in the second game. Made 18 in the third game. But he was just tied up in knots. And then Alik Atanase, constantly a bright spot with starts in this series. Take a brilliant catch in the third game off his own bowling, running back and catching the ball. Alik Atanase have to rectify these things around carrying and going deep into series. Listen, West Indies cricket is in a spot of bother. It's horrible. I think Darren Sammy's job as the coach of all formats is not a good idea. The numbers is not supporting that. The numbers is not supporting Darren Sammy's decision as the coach of all formats. It's not working. And I know that Kishore Shalaford, the president of Cricket West Indies, have said that he's getting criticized because his solution. This is foolishness. This is just not good enough. When you look at these performances, the coach has to start with the blame has to start with the coach. You have players that, granted, you know, people said the cupboard is bare regarding talent, but the mindset and the attitude that people go out and execute a job, whether you're playing cricket, whether you're playing dodgeball, whether you are a scientist or whatever, it starts from the culture that is set. And Darren Sammy's West Indies cricket team is piss poor in all departments of cricket: bowling, batting, and fielding. All right, and I know there's a lot being said about resources and access to resources. And West Indies has limited resources. I get it. But as someone who played cricket and played cricket heavily, you don't need resources to field. You don't need resources to demonstrate a passion for going out and running and cutting off ball and taking catches. That has nothing to do with resources. That has to do with commitment. So I will say to this, I am rallying around the West Indies. I support the West Indies as long as I am alive and I can breathe. I've attended the games. I still pay for the package. I still support these guys. I still support them immensely. But when you look at these numbers and look at the coach and listen to what the coach is saying, you have to say, yo, this is utter rubbish. You know, Darren Sammy does not take the blame. He has to take a significant portion of the blame. These players, some of them were in India for the test series. They were poor there with the bat, and they're also poor here in the ODI series. I think a big part of the problem is that Darren Sammy wants some of the central players to play all three formats. And these players have not been playing all three formats. Brandon King have not been playing test cricket. He was in India. Ruston Chase, Shea Hope, all these players that he's trying to squeeze into test cricket, ODI, and T20 format, it's not working. Darren Sammy, get back to basics. Emphasize fundamentals. not just from a batting perspective, but also from a fielding perspective, and select people who are the best at their jobs. And why do I bring that up? The test, I'll do another episode regarding the test team and other stuff, because the West Indies will play New Zealand here in a little bit. This wicket-keeping scenario and situation, I give it a pass regarding T20 and ODI crickets, Shai Hope wicket-keeping. That's fine. But Shai Hope is not the best wicket-keeper in the Caribbean. Tevin Imlach is the best wicket-keeper in the Caribbean. And I fundamentally believe that if you are the best at a job, then you should be that person to do the job in that team. Tevin Imlach needs to be wicket keeping in the test team. He did that for the final game against India. Or maybe I think the two last games in India, I think. But I also think that Tevin Imlach needs to keep in the other team. And Joshua Silva needs to come back in the picture and do the sharing of the wicket keeping. Let Shai Hope focus on batting. Let him focus on batting. Ruston Chase, he needs to go sit down. Kirk McKenzie, Kevin Hodge, all these young players needs to get back into the fold. Darren Sammy, when he took over at All Format Cricket, he said that we cannot be proud of averaging 24 or 30 or something, 28 or whatever. But look at these numbers. These players that he has selected for all his formats are averaging just the same or worse. So it's madness. I am rallying. I will continue to rally around the West Indies. I don't want to go on a rant, but things are pretty bad and have been bad for the West Indies. As a paying customer, look, I don't know how long I will continue to pay for this product, but I will rally. The West Indies is not just about a team. It's about a culture. It's about legacy. It's about Caribbean love and Caribbean unity. Darren Sammy and the West Indies cricket team, they're pushing my luck. They are pushing my luck. They are pushing their luck. They're pushing me to the brink of considering whether I want to continue to support this team. I will watch the West Indies against Bangladesh tour of West Indies tour of Bangladesh T20 game. I have ODIs up here, and it's not correct. I do make a mistake there. The T20 games. Let's go ahead and T20. Why did I put ODI? T20 games. The first T20 game is on the 27th. And the second T20 game is on October 29th. And the third T20 game is on October 21st. So, October 31st. So, West Indies will play Bangladesh in 3 T20 games. First game is October 27th. Second game is October 29th. And they wrap up on October 31st. Darren Sammy says he would like to get a clean sweep, a 3-0. Maybe this is what Darren Sammy needs to kind of raise up some of the pressure off of him. And before I wrap up this episode, I want to say I'm a huge fan of Darren Sammy. I think he loves West Indies cricket just like the rest of us. We all love West Indies cricket. He's passionate about what he does. He's very committed to the cause of elevating West Indies cricket. But I think this job, this role, these responsibilities are too much for one individual. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Again, this is the first episode of the West Indies Paka. No, this is the first episode of BCN Sports Cricket Show. Let me know your thoughts, family. We'll have more of cricket review coming up. India will play Australia tonight. Let's see, at 11:30 p.m. I'll watch some of that game and I'll do a recap of that India versus Australia series. West Indies wraps up against Bangladesh in T20 format in Chattogram. Chattogram, and Darren Sammy and us West Indies fans could use a big victory. All right, connect with us on Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast, and we are also on Blue Sky at Ball Chat Podcast. and all social media platforms. Let us know your thoughts on the show. Leave a comment. I know a lot of West Indian fans are in the dooms about the team. Hang in there, family. We shall rise. Rally.